Wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. Chip Ganassi Racing is being bought by who? What? Okay. Significant news announcement. Time to make a video. Okay, so we got a big news announcement today, and as you guys probably have noticed, I have not made a video in a while just because I've been a little bit struggling with the transition with work and stuff, so we finally got some time though to make another video here, and of course it had to be a big news day. So, Chip Ganassi Racing's NASCAR program, not their entire racing program, but their NASCAR team was just bought by Trackhouse Racing, which is going to make Trackhouse a two-car team this coming year. Because I believe they were leasing a charter from Spire that they acquired from the 37 this last year. Charters are confusing. I'd much rather just everybody show up to the track and whoever finishes highest wins. Maybe have some kind of pay bonus for any teams that do show up to every single race but don't lock cars into the field, but that's a topic for a different day. But yeah, so Trackhouse Racing is going to be going from one car to two cars, and they've already confirmed Daniel Suarez will be one of the drivers. I see zero reason that they would change his car number, so he will be in the 99 in 2022, which is fantastic for his development. He's finally had a fairly consistent season, and I don't see any reason you would change anything there. But the big piece to that being it's a two-car team this year. Who do you pair up with Daniel Suarez? Do you go and essentially pick up one of the drivers you're kind of getting from Ganassi with Kurt Busch or Chastain? Those sound like they are the top two candidates, and really I don't really see a great other candidate available. I mean, sure, I guess you could go grab one of the Junior Motorsports guys, especially since it sounds like Junior Motorsports is not going to be going to Cup, at least not this year. So that could be a place where you get where you could get your extra driver from, like Junior Motorsports Xfinity program. But I don't know. Would that really be a great place? Because I mean, even right now, I mean, Annette and Allgaier have both been to Cup, and to my knowledge, didn't do a whole lot when they did get Cup opportunities. Now, Allgaier did get a pretty good run in that Spire car this past week, so maybe you pick him up. Gregson, I think, still needs some development in Xfinity to get more consistent before you bring him up. So I think you're pretty much stuck with, and I don't think it's really a bad thing that you're stuck with Kurt and Chastain as kind of your two choices. Now, there's been a lot of people talking about Kurt potentially going to 23XI, and I don't think that's completely unbelievable. I think there's a good chance that that does end up happening. It'll just be a kind of a determining factor of when it happens, of when those types of announcements come. So yeah, so right now, just kind of the big thing with Trackhouse is that we're waiting to see what happens with Kurt Busch. Does Kurt go to 23XI? If so, I think it makes their decision very easy. I think you pick up Chastain. I think you try and continue his development. Now, maybe there's someone Suarez has really been wanting to work with who's on an expiring contract from another team. Or maybe, because clearly they seem to not have a big problem with spending money, because Ganassi wasn't even looking to sell his NASCAR program, but I guess Pitbull and Justin Marks came to him with enough cash to make him consider selling. But yeah, you had Ganassi now out, so that's a big name out of the Cup Series. Even though Ganassi has never really been a top organization, I think there was one year where they were really a championship level contender, and that was with Kyle Larson back in 2017. The only real chance I think they've ever had at a title. Obviously, it was derailed by a blown engine, but they've had solid equipment though throughout their years, and honestly, I wonder if that also brings along a Hendrick alliance, because Ganassi's typically had pretty strong ties to Hendrick, especially in the engine department, so that could be a potential upgrade in equipment if they go um, from what were Richard Childress engines, I believe, this year to Hendrick engines, even though the engines have for the most part been merged as well. So I think you could see a big step forward for Trackhouse, and honestly, I think a step forward could put them in the playoffs very easily next year. Getting both cars in the playoffs, I think the playoffs are so wide open, it's hard to really say, especially at this time, that any one driver is locked in, or at the very for certain can't say that both teams would be locked in. So I think there's a good chance Suarez wins the race next year. But again, it's just kind of a lot of moving pieces because there's also the whole because last year Roushling that everybody's talking about probably being a thing. Gonna be doing a video on that when it's officially announced. But yeah, definitely a lot of stuff to that's happening. But now we do know for sure that Trackhouse will be a 2-car team. We actually had it confirmed that Colleague will be a 2-car team as well, and they put this out, I believe, on Dale Jr.'s podcast that they spent $10 million each on their 2 charters. So $20 million for 2 charters, yikes! I mean, that's a big amount of money. I certainly don't have the cash to be going around paying that, but I guess Pitbull and Justin Marks had enough money to go and buy an entire 2-car race team, including 2 charters. So the charter they currently have will be going back to, I believe, Spire, unless that was one of the ones bought by Colleague. Again, charters are just really confusing right now, especially for someone on the outside looking in. And I'm about as far on the outside as you can get. Just no real information outside of what I can find on what the teams put out on Twitter. So, yeah. But man, big bucks coming out from Justin Marks to get the Ganassi charters, the Ganassi everything. But yeah, man, this is also going to make it interesting to see what do on the IndyCar and IMSA side of things. But I don't usually talk about a lot of those things. Like, I'll talk about Indy 500 when it's happening or when qualifying's happening. I'll talk about the Rolex 24 occasionally, but for the most part, we're focused on NASCAR here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Of course, if you guys want your name in the column over there, at the end of each of these videos, go ahead and check the Patreon link out in the description, and you can get your name added to the sidebar over there. But outside of that, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys next video, live stream, or whatever you decide to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye!